It's Buildy's Bizarro Bedtime. Hello,
Hello.
I'm Madeleine Swan. This is my husband Bill.
Hello again.
And together we form the Buildy, the most terrifying creature. I'm going to tell my husband Bill a story first. Okay, so give me a character.
Really boring one. Yeah.
Your first instinct is to go as boring as you can, and mine is to go as ridiculous as I can.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch around then, shall we?
Yeah.
Glibbledang.
What's Glibbledang like?
Glibbledang is very weird. He's not weird actually. No,
Yeah,
he's
right.
not weird at all. His parents were really weird.
Yeah.
They
named him
Glibbledang.
Glibbledang, so yeah.
He's like gone against. You know, people go against what their parents.
Yeah.
You know, so he's really boring.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
As a kind of what's the word?
I can imagine at dinner parties when Glibbledang was a child or a baby. I can imagine his parents sort of wheeling him out like in a pushchair or something. No, you don't really put babies in pushchairs indoors, do you?
They certainly wouldn't.
No.
They
They'd
wouldn't.
carry him out anyway and say, we called our child Glibbledang.
I think his parents would have all friends round. They'd all be sitting around smoking pot
Yeah.
and drinking and.
And thinking that it was really funny.
Yeah, I think it was really funny, and they'd wheel him out in some sort of monstrosity of a contraption that they built the night before
Yeah.
after doing too much whatever.
Yeah. A bit like when we called our non-existent child Bunty Fat Ass.
Yes.
Oh, we love Bunty.
Yeah.
And our other daughter, Bogey Face.
Bogey Face.
Yeah.
Bunty Fat Ass.
She runs a circus. She's doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Glibbledang and his partner wanted to have a nice place to live. So they went to the local house thing where the people sit.
Local house thing.
Local house thing. People sit in a room and they tell you, right, okay, yeah, go there, that one. You all right, if you put money on that front doorstep,
Right.
you can have it.
Right.
So that
And
that's
so
how it works.
People can't come along and just nick them up. They're not thieves waiting around the corner at this place to sort of.
Well, you put
when
the money
people go
down.
and put 200 grand down.
You put the money down, and a mysterious hand comes out of the letterbox on the front door,
Grabs
and
it
then scoops it up and
before
takes it
any
away.
thieves can come and.
Yeah, it's an immediate reaction,
Yeah.
and that's how you know that it's been accepted.
Yeah, and if it hasn't been accepted,
Well, then the hand within 2 minutes doesn't come out.
right,
So
and then thieves might be able to take your money away. No.
See, what happens is you put the money on the doorstep,
Yeah.
and then you sort of run and hide around the corner
Yeah.
of the street, or perhaps behind a lamppost, some
Yeah.
such thing.
Yeah.
And you watch for the hand to emerge, and if the hand doesn't emerge, then you don't have that
You
house.
go and run back and pick up your money.
Yeah.
And if you wait 2 minutes and in that time a thief comes and grabs the money, you chase after him and say, "Oi, you, that's my money."
You see, thieves don't really go for that money because they know that the owner of the money is only 2 minutes away, and the hand that lurks within the house will just shoot out and grab the thief
so
and
it's
pull them
futile.
back.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's no escape.
Yeah.
And then they get a telling off. And,
So it's all evolved over time.
Yeah.
Thieves don't bother with that because
No,
it's pointless.
they know that they can't
Yeah.
do it. So anyway, Glibbledang and his partner have gone through this process many times, and they haven't got anywhere. The hand hasn't emerged and removed it, so they're kind of getting desperate. So they go to the room where people sit cross-legged on the floor and tell you where you can go.
Right.
They go in there and they say, well, what are we supposed to do? We can't find anywhere to live. The hand isn't coming out.
Yeah.
So the person on the floor, cross-legged, says, well, there is one more place, but we don't know if you're going to like it. And they said, at this stage, what choice do we have?
Yep.
So the person takes them down to the river, and they say, well, I mean, it's not something that you'd immediately think of as a nice home.
Yeah.
But think about it, there's lots of space down there. There aren't really any neighbours to bother you, apart from, obviously, you know, the fish and...
This is down by the river?
Perhaps a few mer people. Yeah, in the river.
In the river?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a house, like a nice cottage by the river?
No, it's the
just
river.
a river?
Yeah.
And they own the river? They get to live in the river and own the river? Or is it
well,
like
a
shared
certain area of the river. I mean,
is,
as far as one can own a river.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So Glibbledidang says to his partner, it's not my first choice, as they said. What do you think? And his partner kind of ummed and ahed for a while, and they were kind of, well, I mean, it's somewhere to live. It's very spacious and it's very colourful. You know,
is it a nice river?
It's a lovely river. It's got all corals and
corals
schools
in the river.
of fish that are iridescent in the
blimey.
sunlight. You know,
quite it sounds like a beautiful river.
It's very beautiful.
It's not like with the Thames or
no.
you know.
It's definitely not the Thames.
Yeah.
And in the end, they decide that they're just going to go for it, and they get some plastic snorkels, and they go down, and they're prepared to have to live somewhere where you've got to go up sort of every few minutes to breathe.
Hold on. So when they live in the river, they've got to live under the water.
Yeah.
And they don't grow gills or anything.
No.
They maybe invest in some scuba diving at oxygen tanks.
Well, once they get underwater, there's mer people waiting beneath, and they go, surprise!
Right, okay.
And they give them a couple of space helmets, and, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
The end.
Oh, so they live with space helmets.
Yeah, and you know, like a line or whatever. But
oh, like the old-fashioned iron things that killed loads of people. Really dangerous.
Yeah, but these are advanced.
Yeah, hence
they're
the
not
space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a good story. I hope they're very happy in the river. You know, I suppose they've got to go work, and they just come out the river, take the helmet off, and off they go. And
they start growing barnacles after a while.
Yeah.
And they fit in, you know, and covered in seaweed and...
Yeah. Make friends. Okay, so your turn to give me a name and potentially a little bit of character background, I suppose.
Okay. Helen. Helen's a bit stuck up.
Okay,
she rides horses, and she wears wellies, and she talks about how she doesn't think the people in number 16 really fit in. And, you know, maybe they'd be happier somewhere cheaper. You know.
Maybe they'd be happier somewhere cheaper. Yeah. So Helen doesn't work. She's inherited lots of money.
Yeah.
And she's pottering in the kitchen with her Aga. You know, cooking some cakes.
Yeah.
And she lives alone, you know. She's quite happy. She crochets and, you know, buys lots of nice things to try and wind up, or not wind up, but show off in front of her neighbours.
Yeah.
And she's cooking these cakes, and she's using the sink to rinse the pans.
Mm-hmm.
And this awful smell comes out of the sink.
Yeah.
Awful. Terrible, And she's like, I've got to do something about this. So she rings the local plumbers.
Yeah.
Who live at number 16 down the road.
Yeah.
The people. She doesn't know.
No.
But they hear it's her, and they say, "I'm sorry, we're fully booked." Once they hear her name, they know who she is. They don't like her.
Of course, yeah.
She doesn't like them.
No.
So first of all, they say, "Sorry, we're fully booked," and she recognises their voice, and she says, "Well, I didn't want you anyway." And they said, "Well, that's all right because we're fully booked."
Well, all right then.
And she said, "Well, yeah.
I didn't want you.
I didn't want you. I didn't realise it was you. I just rung the number that says really good plumbers.
Yeah.
Didn't say your name.
No.
Now I know it's you. I don't want you."
I could have you up for false advertising.
Yeah, I'm going back to my Arga and posh table to eat my cake.
Yeah.
And she puts the phone down, but she realises it's the only plumbers in the area.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do this myself. So she goes out to the garden and she follows the where the sink goes, and it leads to this manhole.
Yeah.
And she thinks, I shouldn't be having to do this. This isn't what I was born to do. I was born to bake cakes and
lord it over people.
And lord it over people, yeah. So she lifts up the cover, and she sees a writhing mass of rats.
A rat king.
A rat king is what she sees. And before she can say blancmange and foie gras.
Yeah.
Not the blancmange isn't very posh, is it? No.
No, foie gras.
Foie gras on
tiramisu.
Foie gras and tiramisu on brioche. Before she can say that, the Rat King rises forth out of the manhole.
Yeah.
And says, "You are Helen, aren't you?" And she says, "Yes." And he says, "I am now your friend." And she says, she's holding her hand over her mouth.
Now your friend.
"I am now your friend."
Not will you be my
No,
friend?
no, I am now your friend. It's quite
very presumptuous.
Very presumptuous, and he's got his hand over. She's got her hand over. It stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks, and it's very big.
Yeah.
It's not like
I imagine it smells like a sewer.
It smells exactly like a sewer.
Yeah.
And it's huge, and it's got legs. It's shaped like a man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but a large.
Yeah.
Probably a man who's probably 8 foot.
Yeah.
So a huge man.
And the rats will be all twisted,
and gnawing
dirty
bits off of each other.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like Andre the Giant, but in rat form, like that sort of size. "I am now your friend," and she's like, "Oh God, no, it's okay. Like I don't need a friend. I'm quite happy." And she's, "No, I'm your friend," and he becomes her friend. She can't get rid of it. She doesn't want to touch it. She can't move it.
Yeah.
And it just follows her around.
I reckon that in order to get number 16 to come and fix her thing, the Rat King tells her that she's got to pretend that it's her new best friend, and if she lets on or freaks out or denies it in any way, the jig is up and number 16 won't do her plumbing.
Well, if 16 won't do her plumbing.
Yeah, but there could be a humorous situation, say, perhaps, where she has to pretend that the Rat King is her new best friend and she really likes it.
And then right to kind of, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
Is that what happens?
It does happen. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not where I was gonna go. But we can go there. Should we do
No,
that then?
sorry, continue on your thing. I butt in.
Are you going to
You do.
completely usurp my story?
It's just I had the idea and I thought it seemed really funny.
That is a really good. It's
I
probably
wanted
going to be
to get
better
it out
than mine,
there.
but I'm on a flow.
Go on. You go.
That would have been good.
I'm sorry, I never said
That's
that.
alright, no, that would be good. Mine's going to be awful compared to that.
Okay.
But here we go. So, so where was I? So the big rat king. So
Yeah.
she can't touch it or anything. So she goes into her house and it follows her.
Mm-hmm.
And it sits there
Mm.
on a sofa with bits of legs of rats being gnawed off and falling off and that. So she's like, I'm going to take a little bit of your advice here.
Okay, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Mm.
She's going to say, oh no, I'll go and introduce. She says, what's your name, Rat King? And what's the Rat King's name?
Mank.
My name's Mank. It's got a lovely voice. My name's Mank.
Yes, it has presence.
Yeah, my name's Mank.
Like
And-
Toast or something.
Yeah.
Toast of London.
And she says, okay, Mank, I want to introduce you to a couple of my friends. So she takes him round and he goes, oh, lovely. And she goes to number 16, knocks on the door,
Mm.
scowling, like looking at the knocker.
Yeah.
And they open and they go, hello. And she's like, they're a bit like, well, what the hell is this?
Mm.
And she's like, I'd like to introduce you to my new friend Mank, and I wondered if you would like to invite us in for a cup of tea. And they say, no,
Yeah.
we told you we're not going to fix you dry. We don't like you. Go away.
Mhm.
And she's like, okay. So she says, okay, Mank, I like to go on my Saturdays, because
Mhm.
it's Saturday, obviously. She says, on my Saturdays, you know what I like to do? And he said, no, please tell me,
Yeah.
please. And she said, I like to go on a day trip. And he says, oh, that sounds jolly good.
Mm.
And she says, okay, so you jump in the, like a trailer. You jump in the trailer of my car.
Yeah,
And
like
we'll-
a sidecar.
No, it's more behind.
Oh, like
Two
yeah.
wheels.
like
It
a caravan sort of thing. A
Mm.
tiny one.
Yeah, it's smaller than that. It hooks onto the bumper,
Yeah.
and it's normally just to cart things around.
yeah.
You know,
I know what you mean.
instead of a roof rack or something.
Mm.
And so she jumps in, off they go, and they turn up at the rubbish dump.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she's thinking,
Yeah.
she's not silly,
Yeah.
and she goes, here we are. And he goes, oh, this is wonderful.
Aw.
And as they walk into the rubbish dump, you can see rats
Mm.
coming off of him bit by bit.
Yeah.
And although Mank is dying
Yeah.
as a being, it's not sad because all the rats are untangling.
Okay.
It's like a metaphor
What for?
for stress. Yeah. Like, or I don't know, something. It's a metaphor for something. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh, it's just a metaphor.
Yeah, I'm sure people can make their own metaphor up.
Make
Yeah.
it up themselves. Yeah.
And it just all the mice run off because they
Rats.
love rubbish tip, don't they?
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And she goes home and she thinks, thank God that's over. Puts the man cover back on
Yeah.
and rings number 16 up again.
Yeah.
And
Tells
says-
them not
says-
to come.
Says, I hate you. And then slams the phone down
Yeah.
and puts her feet up
And all his back
and
to
finishes
normal.
a foie gras and tiramisu brioche whilst watching Emmerdale.
Yeah. Very good. That was good. Okay, that was Buildy's Bizarro bedtime.
Mm.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.